Hello all, welcome to this session on rethinking awareness through creative action and collaboration. The session is organized by the Global Chinese Breast Cancer Organizations Alliance and have the pleasure, I'm Melanie Sampson, to be the moderator for this session, which is close to my heart because many of the speakers today are part of a UICC program called the Patient Group Mentoring Program. So it's all about creative approaches, and how really awareness campaign can build impact on creative approaches. We know awareness campaigns through literature, and I know some of you are writers, design thinking, and really the COVID pandemic and other situations really pushed the patient organizations to reinvent how can we really generate an impact, generate more information for populations through new ways to do it. So today that will be really illustrations of awareness campaigns, original ones, or sometimes really impactful ones, and that you are implementing. And we go through really 4 wonderful speakers that I will introduce for each one of the interventions. We'll watch the videos really to have the examples of the awareness campaigns, and they will really cover key questions like how the idea came first, then really what was the process to make it happen, and how did you measure the impact, and also we'll watch the videos. So I have the pleasure to have my 4 panelists here, and I'll get started with Mary Emrajani, so from the Global Chinese Breast Cancer Organization Alliance. So Mary is a breast cancer survivor, and she has over 30 years of experience in management and corporate finance roles. So she's been serving as the CEO of several companies, and since she had a breast cancer, she decided to volunteer to dedicate herself to support other breast cancer patients. She was named Survivor of the Year and received the Achieved Awards by Susan G. Komen. And really, she's been engaging now with the working groups at the WHO on the Breast Cancer Initiative. And yeah, as chairman of the Alliance, she created Pink Angels. This is a wonderful support group, but also the Pink Academy, as training of patient groups in management is quite key. So Mary, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Melanie. Good morning, everyone. Let me start by thanking you for coming to our session this morning. It's so nice to see so many of you. I was worried nobody would come. Well, our organization is founded by a group of breast cancer survivors from different parts of the world with a determination to diminish disparity and strive to improve breast cancer care among Chinese women. We are the platform that links up different Chinese cancer groups around the world. Now, at the beginning of 2020, we were all caught off guard by the unanticipated COVID-19 outbreak. At the time, we thought it would be like the 2003 SARS in Hong Kong, which lasted only a few months. But COVID-19 surprised us all. It continued through the entire 2021 and even into 2022. Over these past 3 years, we saw how the pandemic caused dramatic changes in nearly every aspect of our daily lives. The way we shop more online now. The way we eat, we do more takeaways, deliveries. And the way we work, many of us work from home. And above all, the way we socialize. Although many parts of the world are slowly opening up, others, like Hong Kong and China especially, are still tied down with restrictions. Only yesterday, my friends and I were discussing the difficult requirement of having to take 2 to 3 PCR tests within 48 hours in order to return to our home in China after the Congress. The impact of the pandemic on cancer is profound. From interrupting regular cancer treatment to social distancing, all these measures caused patients to be more anxious, stressed, worried, and even depressed. Patients with cancer are most vulnerable. However, as the attention of the world are focused on COVID-19, their cry for help can hardly be heard. Nevertheless, cancer does not stop just because we have a pandemic. It was therefore up to us, the cancer groups, to adjust quickly and think of new approaches to support our patients, to encourage and raise patients' morale, and ask the community to recommit to the fight against cancer. Now, the case I'm sharing today is the creation of an online fitness exercise, which we did as an innovative awareness campaign for the Pink October 2021 and for our 8th Global Chinese Breast Cancer Conference. We all know that exercise is good for our health and that it helps us prevent cancer. And for breast cancer patients with lymphedema condition, exercise helps us to reduce swelling and improve mobility. It also helps us to feel more happy. But how? How to get the body moving when we are stuck at home under the quarantine measures can be particularly challenging. Undoubtedly, stuck at home being bored, we all lack motivation. So with the help of sports specialists and physiotherapists, the idea was to design an online exercise that was light and simple enough to enable people living with cancer to learn and do from home. We also added an original music composed specially for the exercise, just to make it more fun. And then we promote the program to every cancer family, encouraging everyone to join in from the comfort of their home. Our aim is to engage people living with cancer, to encourage them to be positive, to increase their health awareness, to bring joy and positive energy to them, and finally, to create a movement that can mobilize patients, caregivers, survivors, as well as patient groups around the world to join together, amplifying patients' voice amidst all the noise of the pandemic. To maximize the impact of this event, we encourage everyone to send us copies of videos of themselves doing the fitness exercise. And we could use the video to apply for the official world record, as the most number of people concerned with breast cancer doing the same cancer exercise together online. Napoleon once said, "Give me enough medals and I'll win you any war." And getting a world record certificate, this stimulates actions from the community. And those who are happy to record themselves doing the exercise would have had to practice the exercise several times to achieve a video clip they're comfortable with sending to us. Thus, it motivated them to do the exercise multiple times. Via different social media platforms, we were able to connect with 5,700 cancer families. Our social media channel had more than 78,000 views. We were able to collect 1,050 videos from 33 cancer groups across 24 cities around the world, from Hong Kong, China, Malaysia, Indonesia, Philippines, Switzerland, Canada, USA, and more. One of the most amazing things, which is very encouraging to us, was that the oldest participant was a 100-year-old lady, mother of a breast cancer patient, and the youngest one is a 4-year-old girl from a cancer family. And by the way, we did got the world record. So we don't want the momentum to die, and building on the success of the fitness exercise and to continue the momentum, we are planning to launch in 2023 a lyric competition for the original song that was composed for the fitness exercise. The theme of the lyric will be about cancer patients' voice. The competition will be in two categories, a category for the professional composers, of course, and another for patients and caregivers. Of course, like all competitions, to intrigue participants, there will be prizes for the winners. And one of the exciting prizes we are negotiating is a 3-day hotel vacation in a 5-star hotel anywhere in the world. Isn't that exciting? You're all, you're all invited to join. Okay, great. Our aim is that the momentum started by the fitness exercise should continue in another form, and that it could be a tool for us all to continue to engage people living with cancer, as well as creating an impact on cancer awareness. Last but not the least, let me share with you a video of our fitness exercise. Thank you. This is a 4-year-old. You can see it's done during COVID time, so everybody has masks on. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mary, for making us dancing, including the UICC team. So we're really excited to become writers of song lyrics next year. So thank you so much for this. I just wanted to say we'll try to keep like a few minutes for Q&A at the end of the session, and also contribution from the audience. I know there are like many examples up there. So I'll introduce quickly the next speaker, who is Hani Nassar from the Barbara Nassar Association for Cancer Patient Support from Lebanon. And Hani holds a bachelor degree in philosophy, and he had to accompany his wife illness and struggle with cancer. And days before the death of Barbara Nassar, in 2014, they created together the Barbara Nassar Association to support cancer patients. And since then, Hani devoted himself to achieve this objective. So the journey led also Hani to bring together oncologists from across Lebanon to apply their unique expertise to cancer patients' health and well-being. And Hani is a fierce defender and is really a wonderful advocate for the rights of cancer patients in Lebanon. Hani, the floor is yours.
When my wife Barbara was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer with bone metastasis and many fractures in her neck and rib cage, her doctors told us that if God loves us, she can live 1 year. We defied our fear and the disease, and after 1 year, instead of waiting for death, we did the Lebanese flag tour and visited 1,655 villages, all the Lebanese villages. The main objective was that Barbara encouraged all cancer patients to face their fear and overcome the disease. During the trip, a lot of ladies asked Barbara, "How dare you say you have cancer? No one will marry your daughter. Cancer is a taboo." In the third year, on our anniversary, August 16, 2012, doctors told us to say goodbye because Barbara had meningitis and she had a maximum of 2 weeks to live. Next year, on our anniversary, August 16th, 2013, she was on the highest summit in Lebanon, saluted the doctor, and told him she's still alive. With her big smile and 240 milligrams of morphine that she took during almost 2 years. During the last year, we discovered that she had a lot of friends who stopped their treatment and died because there is no financial support for adult cancer patients in Lebanon. All the support is focused on children. The adults had to face everything alone. A few days before she passed away, Barbara told the Minister of Interior that she has a dream to found an association to support adult cancer patients before she leaves. The day after she got the official approval, she said goodbye to us with a big smile. From my story with Barbara and the way she endured her pain, I wrote lyrics and give hope to cancer patients and at the same time gives knowledge about the disease. 500 volunteers, cancer fighters and survivors and nurses were dancing on our traditional song Huwara, but with my lyrics. 2,200,000 people viewed the video the first 2 months on social media. After the launching of Barbara Nassar Association, we presented hundreds of cancer patients' testimonials on media and social media, especially the youth. We organized cancer villages, cancer awareness villages, in the big forum de Beirut, where the Ministry of Education urged schools to organize visits of students, for students. Barbara always said, if you want to triumph over the disease, call it by its name, not that disease. I first start alone with some experience I gained from Barbara's journey, but last year we launched the advisory board of the association, which includes the third of the Lebanon's oncologists. We also launched the Barbara Nassar Cancer Patients Academy, where we gathered adult cancer patients in 10 groups according to their types of cancer. In this academy, the patients transform from a cancer patient into an expert patient in cancer who raises awareness wherever he or she is. Barbara Nassar Association so far helped more than 3,000 patients to continue their treatments with dignity. Next video.
بيأسفنا انه بلبنان مضطرين مرضانا ينزلوا على الطريق وتحت الشتاء حتى يصرخوا لدولتهم تتأمن لهم العلاج. مريض السرطان بلبنان مش هيك اخرته. مريض السرطان بلبنان له حق يتعالج بكرامته. نحن بدنا نعيش ما بدنا نموت.
I know that what you heard might be hard, but in Lebanon we are dying 1,000 times a day. In the Barbara Nassar Association, we know how to fight with joy, but also when it comes to risking the lives of cancer patients, we raise our voice so high. We have a huge economic crisis in Lebanon. The dollar value now is 40 times more than before. We can't afford to pay for the treatment in hospitals, and the government deprived adult cancer patients from their medications. The importers didn't get the pre-approval to bring the medications during 4 months in 2021. We called the cancer patients for a sit-in and invited more than 40 local and international media agencies. I think a lot of you saw this lady from the Barbara Nassar Association sit-in. An engineer who couldn't find her medications. Yes, the day after the government signed the pre-approvals to import medicines, yes, they heard us. After 1 year, we were still facing the same problem. We didn't want to repeat ourselves, so we organized a flash mob. All of you were honoring the cancer patients on February 4th. In Lebanon, we invited them to raise their voices in the street, under the rain, with the pain. We invited all media outlets to cover the event and to show the politicians how they are burying us alive. We had a funeral car. Cancer patients carried on their shoulders a casket representing the government's decision to kill all cancer patients, and they broke it into pieces. They were shooting under the rain. We want to live, we love life, and you are killing us. BNA, Barbara Nassar Association, is now a fierce defender and a spearhead advocate for the rights of adult cancer patients in Lebanon, always collaborating with the Ministry of Public Health, always providing media outlets with all materials, info, and data to prepare their reports. The medication shortage in Lebanon is our priority and will always be #1 news until this issue is resolved. We are doing our best. We are using our network at the international level to get medications as donations to deliver them for free to cancer patients. On February 4th, we will launch the first psychosocial support cancer center in Lebanon, and nothing will stop us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hani, for the important work you're doing, and creative processes can also showcase dramatic situations, so thank you. Our next speaker will be Chris Cheng from the Society for Cancer Advocacy and Awareness, Kuching, so SCAN Malaysia. So Chris is a cancer survivor and the secretary of the Society for Cancer Advocacy and Awareness, Kuching. He's been involved with cancer advocacy since 2016 and is a a member of SCAN. In the short time since SCAN has been founded, the Society has managed to grow a lot and to do a lot of awareness campaigns, to launch a World Cancer Day website, but also, and this was something we worked together also with Bunui, we had a dream to have a World Cancer Day song. So Chris, please, the floor is yours.
Good morning. My name is Chris. I'm the president for Society for Cancer Advocacy and Awareness, Kuching. Come from Kuching, Sarawak, Malaysia, an island on the island of Borneo. So I would like to share with you today about our project, a World Cancer Day song. So let us have a listen first. The idea from this music came from our founding president, Bun Lui. She noticed that there was no theme song for World Cancer Day, and World Cancer Day has been around since early 2000s. So a song to us is something that can invoke emotions in people. Think about Nightbird's song. I'm sure you guys have heard of it, from America's Got Talent, and how it tugged on the heartstrings. So we wanted to produce a song that can give hope, joy, and happiness to everyone touched by cancer. So we contacted Alina Murang. She's a singer-songwriter and a sape player, the sape being the traditional instrument of Sarawak. She also happens to be the daughter of a cancer survivor, so she was more than happy to help. But everything costs money. Recording studio needs money, the production team needs money, the session musicians need money. Because of that, we found it hard to justify the cost of such an awareness project. So it was kind of shelved. But luckily, the following year, through UICC, through our patient mentoring group, we were encouraged to go for a small grant to do just this. So we grabbed at the opportunity. Our original goal and the objective of the grant was just to produce a song for World Cancer Day. But to maximize the reach of this project, we decided to do two extra things. One was to create a music video, and two was to launch the event on February 4th, World Cancer Day. There were, of course, challenges. Getting the lyrics was a challenge itself. The lyrics had to be meaningful and follow the World Cancer Day theme of closing the care gap. Alina helped us with brainstorming sessions, to see what was important to us. It took a few rounds to get to the final lyrics, but we are proud to say that the title, Many Tomorrows, came from one of our members. Sorry. Another challenge was time. We had 3 months to complete everything, and this was complicated by the fact that Alina got COVID. So if your singer has COVID, you'll be under time constraint. Luckily, she recovered in time and managed to complete the song. We also had challenges in the videography. The initial project did not have a component for music video. So when we decided to do that, we were thinking of something simple, maybe shot with our phones, to save budget. But luckily, Alina introduced us to a professional team. And luckier still, they were willing to do it for free. So that's why you get to see a nice video. So how did we do? We got 15K views, which is decent but not viral. However, we did penetrate a different demographic, a younger audience that normally will not be reached by our activities. We also had press mentions and airplays, and getting airplay from all the way from Canada was a good surprise. And we also got published in music press, which is not a media that normally covers cancer. On World Cancer Day, we successfully launched the music video, and we got involvement from local politicians as well as our medical doctors. But the biggest success was probably getting a spot on Malaysian national TV. We got almost the full program. I think it was about 30 plus minutes. And during that time, we get to show the video. We got to talk about cancer advocacy and the issues patients face in Malaysia. Lessons and takeaways. One of the lessons we learned is to think outside the box. I think it was Einstein who said, if you keep on doing the same thing, you get the same results. So you never know what you can achieve if you think outside the box. And also look for outside help. If we were to do it ourselves, I think this project would probably be less successful. But with our partners, getting Alina, getting her professional team, we were able to do much more. So what about the future? Learning from Mary, I think we might do a competition where the public can cover the song and post it up on social media, increasing the reach further. And of course, when the time comes and there's a new World Cancer Day theme, we might do another song. So another thing we did was merchandising. So we created a t-shirt. This is the t-shirt, and a tote bag. I actually brought some tote bags with me. So if you can answer the question, what instrument does Alina play? Come up to me. First 5 you get a tote bag. Thank you.
A tip, it was on one of the slides. That's but thank you so much, Chris. So collaboration is key, and it's been like a real pleasure to make this dream happen from the founder also of SCAN. So Bunui was really instrumental also, and you. So it's wonderful. So now our last speaker is Angie. So Angelita Cieves Fernandez, who is the executive director of the Kite Foundation. We will be covering now quite an interesting approach, the intergenerational dialogue between childhood cancer survivors and kids. So Angie is really developmental psychologist, and she advocates for access to psychosocial support of children for so many years. Angie, the floor is yours.
Thank you for the kind introduction, Melanie, and good morning, everyone. As Melanie mentioned, I represent Kite Foundation, Inc. It's the only organization in the Philippines that provides psychosocial care for children with cancer and other chronic illnesses through the Kite Child Life Services. On February 4 of this year, On February 4 of this year, for the World Cancer Day celebration, Kite hosted a webinar entitled Close the Care Gap, a conversation between 2 generations of cancer survivors. It was the first of its kind for Kite, as we have not brought together on one platform both childhood cancer survivors and adult survivors. It was an emotional and enlightening day for everybody there present, even for us who have been doing this work for decades. Before I tell you about how it was conceptualized, what we learned, and what might be some plans moving forward, I'd like to share this video with you.
2 generations of cancer survivors talk about their treatment journeys and their survivorships. Stories of very different, yet at times similar experiences that also highlighted the disparities in access to cancer care. Kite Foundation, Inc., in collaboration with the Union for International Cancer Control, hosted a webinar in celebration of World Cancer Day on February 4, 2022. Entitled Close the Care Gap, a conversation between two generations of cancer survivors, it brought together 4 individuals of different generations and circumstances.
I went to one of the best doctors of breast cancer.
Kasi kulang din kami sa medical equipment para ma-diagnose ka.
And since his practice was at Stanford, one of the leading hospitals in the US, I felt I could not be in a better place for treatment.
Since hindi kami mayaman at yung pera talaga ipinagkakasya lang namin sa araw-araw tapos dumadagdag pa yung treatment.
The webinar allowed a wider reach and involved various stakeholders, from patients and their parents to survivors to donors and trustees, not only from the Philippines, but also from other parts of the world. An ingenious way of raising awareness and maximizing impact.
Just hearing the very few lines from the 4 speakers that we have will give you a peek into the stark disparity of cancer care in my country. Let me tell you a background that led to the webinar. For World Cancer Day 2022, the UICC opened proposals for engaging in relevant activities and offered grants to the winning entries. The theme, Close the Cancer Care Gap, was really apt for our context, and so the KITE team took this chance to draw attention to the grim inequalities in cancer care that exist in the country. As there were still restrictions on gathering large groups of people due to the pandemic, the KITE team decided to host a webinar instead. The challenge was to create webinar content that was in line with the theme and at the same time ensure that this would garner attention and heighten the advocacy. In coming up with a new concept, the group tried substituting the word care with other words that are related to cancer treatment. So statements such as close the treatment gap or close the communication gap were suggested. And eventually one of the members came up with close the generation gap. When asked why she thought of the generation gap, she said that KITE has been there for 30 years serving children with cancer. Some of our childhood cancer survivors whom we've served over the years are now young adults. And when we talk to these survivors, common questions pertain to their future. On the other hand, the subject of aging cancer survivors is a topic that is rarely brought up in conversation. Thus, the proposal focusing on a conversation between the young and the older cancer survivors came about. The 4 speakers that you saw from 2 different generations involved in the conversation include Malu, she's the KITE president, who was on top of the corporate ladder when she was diagnosed, and she had the resources to access excellent doctors and treatment in Manila. Charm was a teen skater living with his aunt in the province. He was really doing all of these flips and all of these jumps in his skateboard, and he was diagnosed with osteosarcoma and had to have his leg amputated. The uncertainty of amputation and initially not having access to a medical institution within the area that was equipped to care for him was a challenge. Edwin was going about his life working in California, and upon diagnosis was under the care of top specialists at Stanford in the US. Ivy was an A student and a varsity volleyball player who was recently orphaned of a father and struggling with her mother to access the care she needed. What made this creative action, and what impact may it have had? Webinars on cancer typically only address the needs of one population at a time, never both together. So it is unusual to bring together 2 age groups with disparate backgrounds and experiences on the same platform. In our doing so, much of the gaps that are so stark in our country were brought to fore. Viewers listened to the stories of our childhood cancer survivors, both underprivileged, both of who struggled with their loved ones through their treatment. And among the disparities that came about, the challenges were accessing advanced care, even transportation, even nutrition and good food, supportive care, and information when you are in the province. Then we heard the stories of our privileged older survivors with access to the best possible care and with comforts. As the conversations between the two generations continued, it became more apparent that aside from highlighting the gaps in cancer care and finding ways to bridge these gaps, the webinar's messages became also about, number one, bridging the communication gap between generations. There is a need to provide conversations, safe space for conversations to understand and learn from one another, using these opportunities to heighten awareness and spur action. Number two, despite the disparities, the conversation highlighted the similarities in the experiences, the fear, the uncertainty, the pain that cuts across generations. And in that regard, cancer is an equalizer. There's nobody who's rich, nobody who's poor in this regard. Though the reach of this webinar is nowhere near close to my colleagues, we were already very happy with what we reached. So 3,000 people, numerous comments posted, engaged patients, parents, donors and sponsors, and viewers from the Philippines and a few other countries around the world. This open and honest and accepting conversation allowed a better understanding of each generation's experiences, of each one's views and values. It enhanced learning, skill sharing, and led to clearer communication, created opportunities for generations to feel valued and to build relationships and connections. And further, we think that it reduced ageism and fostered a respect for each generation's insights and strengths, as people now talk from a sense of awareness, acknowledgement, and appreciation. Moving forward, having seen the success of this conversation between two generations, KAITH is exploring the possibility of conversations of young cancer survivors between two cultures. So if anybody would want to do that, please, let's do that. Or between sectors. There is also a need to advocate for transition programs for pediatric cancer survivors as they grow and enter into adulthood. Moreover, we hope to generate discussions on aging with cancer and to include their needs in cancer programs and policies. To end this, the project has shown KAITH that creative approaches can grow our audience and create a stronger base of support to drive our mission forward. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, Angie, for really this inspiration in building bridges, not only across cancer survivors, but also generations. And collaboration, building bridges is really what is common among the speakers. So I will open for questions, but I see also wonderful contributors for creative approaches that I would like to give the floor maybe just for a quick contribution to Corinne with your campaign. Thank you, Olem. Do you have the mic? Just a mic, please.
Thank you, and fantastic. Absolutely, it's really touching. All of the work that you're doing, and creativity is so needed when we're trying to cut through all the noise when it comes to getting out our messages. Thank you, Melanie, for inviting me to just share a little bit about what our organization is doing. I'm Corinne Beaumont with the Know Your Lemons Foundation. You might have seen our lemon leaflets around. We have plenty, so please come get some afterwards. But my background is I am a graphic designer with a PhD in how to communicate to global audiences. So I use creativity to overcome taboos that exist with breast cancer, and design in a way that works for any gender, any age, any race, and low literacy. So what we do is, because breasts have a taboo, they're associated with sex and cancer has a taboo that's associated with death. Talking about breast cancer is trying to talk about sex death, and that doesn't work very well. So using visuals, using a lemon as a substitute for a breast allows us to not talk about sex death, but we can talk about lemons, and people then make the interpretation in their own mind. So we're able to teach children in schools about breast cancer symptoms, and because it's different and unique, our experience is that people, we have this image that shows the 12 signs of breast cancer using lemons. If we tried to show this using breasts, it would be censored. And actually there is psychology behind that, that when we see disturbing images, our brain rejects it and we actually can't learn. So we've had patients that have said to us, I saw this image and 2 years later I noticed it changed in my breast and I still remembered this because it was so different. And that's what led them to report a symptom and get diagnosed earlier. It's in 32 languages. We've used it all around the world in lots of different cultures and found really high rates of success. People are learning really well, and we work with other organizations to partner to use our materials and our teacher training, and we also have a Know Your Lemons app that was launched a couple of years ago. It's now available in English and French. We're expanding to more countries. We would love to work with you so that we can get screening recommendations for your countries on the app. And if you don't have screening recommendations, we can give information on what patients can do if they notice they have symptoms, so that we can do personal navigation using technology. So thank you very much for the opportunity to share this with you.
Thank you so much, Corinne. It's really like using design thinking just to break a barrier, you know, is really wonderful. I know in Lebanon, one of the patient groups, they used for self-exam for breast cancer, the recipe for to do bread, per se. So so it was quite interesting also. So we just have time to 1 or 2 questions. Yes.
Hello everyone, my name is Ngozi. I'm a breast cancer survivor and patient advocate from Nigeria. I would like to ask Nasir a question. So when it comes to collaboration, I noticed that it's easier, so as a survivor and a patient advocate, it can be difficult to collaborate with fellow survivors because of the issues of stigma and them not wanting to go through the process of remembering their treatment. So how were you able to get survivors to come in on the song and the dance and everything? How did you get them to take part freely without having to convince them? Was it easy? Was it a struggle? Instead of having to use people that haven't had cancer, because I know that it's easier to pass messages across when you're using a cancer survivor. But I notice a lot of times they are not ready to take part in a lot of activities. So how do you overcome those struggles?
As a survivor to a survivor, so you are a survivor, so how come you get up to talk about breast cancer and had a group? That's how you encourage others to look up to you and see that having cancer is not a stigma. Actually, your story can help others become better. So you got to encourage them, and I think that it's like yourself. You have come stand up, like me. I have stand up against all odds, because I know that when I had breast cancer, everybody tell me in the family, especially in Chinese culture, they say, "Don't tell anyone. Nobody will know about it." You know, you get away from cancer. No more cancer. You know, talk about it, and nobody will know. But then, you know, it is you feel a calling in yourself that you think you can help. It's like you are doing that, and I'm sure you can find. There are a lot of women who don't want to talk about it. There are others who are brave enough and who think that they can make a difference. Especially after you help them, they find that the help you give them is good and it can help others. So they will continue. So we said in Chinese, we pass the torch. So that's how you find more people to come to help in your cause. And as a patients group, you know, patients volunteer is our power. Anything you want to add?
I would like to add, I agree with Mary. You need to find more volunteers that share the same willingness to share. I'm also a survivor, and sharing, because when I first got diagnosed, I had help from others that were already far along the journey. So that was the reason why I wanted to give back. And I'm sure there are a lot of survivors out there that are like me. So it's up to you to share more and try to find more of them. At the end of the day, it's still a numbers game. There will be patients that are not comfortable to share, but there will be those that are willing to share.
You'll be the inspiration for them. Just stand strong, and slowly other people will come.
Hi everyone, my name is Bahija. I am the president of Amal Association from Marrakesh, Morocco. And thank you very much for your great presentation. You showed us that we should never waste our story. And I want to share with you something. I am also a poet and author. I am myself a cancer patient living with leukemia, blood cancer, since 2002. And I wrote 4 books, 2 in French and 2 in Arabic. And sometimes it's good to share story by poetry. Sometimes people, they can, because they are shy, they can't share something personal. When you share the story, they, yeah, or sometimes text or poetry, they said, it's just you are talking in my place. I feel the same thing. And I want just to say that it's something amazing, because these books, 70% of this book go to help people and to help patients to get medicine and to get testing. Thank you.
And thank you so much, Bahija, for really your great work in literature. Is really a healing process, so it's wonderful. Any question? Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm Dr. Naila. I'm from Tanzania, representing Zanzibar Outreach Program. I think I have a comment or maybe advice. We are here as UICC members, right? And others are not members. But what if all of you survivors in the world create like one big organization, so that all survivors can be inside it and maybe meet like this once a year or in 2 or 3 years. You share ideas together because you guys have been through it. You know how it feels. Others haven't. We speak for you. You feel more. So if you join together, the voice will be stronger. You will demand what you want, and people will listen to what you want. It will be easy. I think every country should participate, bring out the survivors of any type of cancer. It will be very good.
Thank you so much.
Can
I hear you?
Can I just
go
respond?
ahead. Yeah.
Actually, we had a session this morning on using voice of cancer patients, and one of the things that brought up was, since we do have this mentoring group, we wanted to, like you say, collaborate further and advocate as one voice. So we are planning to do that. Thank you.
Actually, the fitness exercise was a movement that we hope to join hand with every patient group together to bring out our voice stronger, you know, together to amplify our voice.
Wonderful. We're already late for the next session, but we could continue all day long. I have to say, wonderful idea. Thank you so much for really speaking one voice and having the patients at the center. Thank you so much all for attending.